What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we're going to take a trip over to Fox News Studios because I want us to take a quick listen at what Tulsi Gabbard had to say about Kamala Harris and all the things going on leading up to Donald Trump's debate against Kamala Harris, September, I believe it is 10th. If I'm not mistaken, September 10th on ABC. I want you guys to take a listen to what she had to say concerning the prepping that she's doing with Donald Trump, and specifically as she highlights and points out how much of a liar Kamala Harris is. Remember, Tulsi is the one that humiliated her back in the 2020 debates, and now she is coaching Donald Trump to do the same thing in the 2024 debate, which is humiliate Kamala Harris because she is a liar. Now, let's let Tulsi explain it better than I can. Let's jump into this right now.
Here was reaction 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard. By the way, you're not on the terror watch list any longer, are you, Tulsi? Another shocking story as well. I hope that's all resolved.
Unfortunately, Sean, I wish I could say the same, but it has not been resolved. I've been informed that the targeting package that the TSA created for me when they put me on the secret domestic terror watch list is still operational.
Now, I don't want that to go over anyone's head, right? Some of you may be informed about this, some of you might not be, but I don't want to leave this stone unturned. So I want to jump into this very quickly, just so you understand what's going on concerning Tulsi Gabbard being on the terror watch list. And yes, I will make sure to leave the link to this article in the description box below so you can read it for yourself. It reads, Tulsi Gabbard claims to Hannity she's still stuck on a TSA terror watch list. Let's jump into this very quickly. Former Democratic representative turned Trump endorser Tulsi Gabbard claimed she is on the Transportation Security Administration's watch list that the agency uses to snoop on unknown and partially known terrorists on Wednesday. In a previous Fox appearance on August 10th, Gabbard alleged her name was supposedly added to the TSA's Quiet Skies program on July 23rd. The secretive program was first exposed by the Boston Globe in 2018. It allows federal air marshals to follow U.S. citizens and collect information on their behavior and movements, even if they aren't suspected of a crime or on a terror watch list. Okay, remember this because you never know if you're going to fall on this list as well. The Globe reported on a TSA bulletin that said, excuse me, let me start that over again. Take two. The Globe reported on a TSA bulletin that said the program aims to stop threats posed by unknown or partially known terrorists, and that it targets travelers who are not under investigation by any agency and are not in the terrorist screening database. So this just gives you free reign, or I should say this gives the government free reign to just essentially spy on your every movement when you attempt to fly around the country, let alone leave the country. You're now on this watch list, whether you're a terrorist or not, whether you are under investigation or not. You can be placed on this list for any arbitrary reason. An erstwhile Bernie Sanders backer who quit the Democratic Party in 2022, Gabbard subsequently drifted closer and closer to Trump world. What in the world is Trump world? What is that even? Come on, man. Culminating in her endorsement for President Donald Trump earlier this year. Gabbard claimed in a statement to the Hawaiian Tribune Herald that her addition to the TSA list is clearly an act of political retaliation for her outspoken criticism of her former party and its presidential nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. And once again, I have no reason to believe that she's lying when she says this, because as we continue forward in today's video, we're going to get into what Mark Zuckerberg had to say as it pertains to the Biden administration twisting his arm to get him to remove posts offline, false flagging those posts as being misinformation when they weren't. But before we get into that, let's get back into what Tulsi Gabbard had to say. Let's jump into this right now.
Also reports that you are part of Donald Trump's debate prep team. What do you tell him, without giving away private conversations you may have, about debating Kamala Harris? Because she did go in with memorized lines to go after Joe Biden, and they were effective to some level.
Yeah, they were. First of all, as you know, President Trump is not a politician at all. He doesn't do traditional political debate prep. He is prepared to debate Kamala Harris anytime, anywhere. I think the only place where I may possibly be of help is really conveying that experience that I had with her on the debate stage that you just played, sharing the kinds of games she will play in order to try to hide her real record from the American people. It is clear that now that she is the candidate running for president on the Democratic ticket, she is saying one thing while her record and her actions over the last 3.5 years prove the exact opposite to be true. She is lying through her teeth every single day, which is incredibly insulting to the American people and voters, because she thinks that we are so stupid that we are going to just forget what she has done over the last 3.5 years and all of a sudden buy this new lie that she is selling us. And, there are too many examples to cite, but you brought up my being on this secret domestic terror watch list. She says over and over again she's going to be the champion and defender of freedom, and yet she and the Harris-Biden administration continue their mission of political retaliation to censor free speech, to go after people like me for criticizing them and their actions and policies. And of course, their foremost target continues to be Donald J. Trump, as we've seen with these new indictments that they've just rolled out. What she says, and this is what I'm encouraging people to pay attention to in this debate and in this campaign, don't listen to what she says, because whenever she opens her mouth, she is selling a lie. Focus on her record, and that's what President Trump will do, expose the truth about who Kamala Harris really is.
Whenever she opens her mouth, she is selling a lie. And that's one of the reasons why she always starts cackling in the middle of her attempting to sell a lie, because she knows it's a lie. And Kamala Harris has a horrible poker face. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, those who claim to be defending democracy the most are the ones who do not believe in it and violate democracy the most. As we see concerning Tulsi Gabbard, she's on this terror watch list, which she should not be on. She clearly is on this terror watch list because of her outspokenness towards the DNC, and particularly Kamala Harris. It doesn't surprise me that the DNC would do something like this, because we've already watched them successfully weaponize the justice system to remove RFK Jr. off the New York ballot. This was before he suspended his campaign to endorse Trump, and we watched them successfully, to some degree, partially successfully, weaponize the justice system against Trump. They were able to get a guilty verdict, but have yet to be able to remove him off the ballot, right? And now we see, moving forward in the present day, as early as I believe it was Monday, Mark Zuckerberg came out and exposed the fact that the Biden administration, which Kamala Harris is a part of, twisted his arm to make him false flag actual genuine information as misinformation to remove it off of Facebook, because it would hurt his chances of winning the 2020 election, and it would hurt whatever agenda that they had moving forward throughout the time that this administration was in office. Don't believe me? I'll let Mark Zuckerberg speak for himself.
For years, critics have taken aim at Facebook for silencing views that challenge the general consensus in the medical community, especially about the origin of COVID-19. Now, Facebook's founder surprisingly says they're right.
This morning, Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. The Facebook founder issuing a letter to the House Judiciary Committee that said senior administration officials pushed the social media platform to censor posts about COVID-19 and expressed a lot of frustration when the company resisted. Zuckerberg saying, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it," adding, "I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again." Overnight, the White House responded to Zuckerberg's letter. "Our position has been clear and consistent. We believe tech companies and other private actors should take into account the effects their actions have on the American people, while making independent choices about the information they present." Zuckerberg going on to express regret for demoting content related to corruption allegations against Hunter Biden ahead of the 2020 election, alleging the FBI warned information circulating online was a Russian disinformation operation. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story.
All these people do is literally lie. And it's right here in front of your face. And it's amazing to me that people either can't see it or are willfully choosing to be ignorant when it comes to this type of information. It's mind-blowing to me. And it makes me feel as if sometimes I'm in a twilight zone, the bizarro world, the upside down, whatever you want to call it, because how can at least close to half of the population not see this? How can they not understand this? Like Tulsi said, this woman is a liar. Every time Kamala Harris opens her mouth, she's selling you a lie. That's why she's banking on and hoping that the microphones can be unmuted during the debate against Donald Trump, because she's hoping that Trump will bail her out in the middle of her fumbling through her lies, in the middle of her cackling through her lies. Maybe Trump will abruptly interrupt her, to which then she can fall back and play victim and say, big bad Trump is bullying me. And then the media can do what they do with that. That's what she's hoping for. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It doesn't look like that's going to happen concerning the muting of mics. But once again, in closing, all she does is lie. Like Tulsi said, she lies, she steals, and she's a chameleon. We've watched her steal Trump's tax on tips. We've watched her steal Trump's border wall proposal. Now she wants to build a wall while at the same time wanting to decriminalize the border, wanting to abolish ICE. She referred to ICE as the equivalent or parallel to the KKK of the past. That's completely ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. But this is the woman that we're supposed to trust being the president of the United States. The people, once again, who claim to be preserving democracy and freedom of speech the most are the same ones who violated endlessly. But oddly enough, for some reason, her polling numbers continue to skyrocket. It's making me wonder, are these polls actually real? Or are the people really just stupid? Tulsi stated earlier that she said that the Harris-Biden administration believe that the people are so stupid that they'll elect somebody like her while lying the way that she does. I will push back on Tulsi with this. It's yet to be seen. We'll see what happens. We'll see how stupid the American people is or isn't, and we'll also see, or maybe we won't, because we'll get flagged as misinformation, disinformation. But we'll see if, Kamala Harris and the DNC sprinkles a little bit of that 2020 magic on this election. You all know what that 2020 magic is. When you go to sleep at night, one guy was in the lead by quite a few votes, to say the least. But when you wake up the next morning, the other guy wins by a landslide. Go figure. All I know is that I'm not going to sleep this election. They're not going to get me again. I'm going to stay up all night. And I suggest you do the same. So thank you all for joining me today. That does it for today's news, man. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important that you follow me on Telegram and Rumble at TD Media Group. The link to both my Telegram and Rumble will be in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.